Good evening and welcome to the Lagos studios of IATV. I am Adegboyega Labiran with the news. The federal government has been queried on the rationale for selecting those who are considered for national honors. Former Governor of Ogun State, Olusegun Oshoba, amongst others, challenged the selection criteria at the 90th birthday celebration of our former Governor of Lagos State, Lateef Jakonde, was here to receive any national honor. They are of the view that Jakonde's contribution to the development of modern journalism and urbanization of Lagos are numerous to be ignored at the federal level.
It was a day of encomiums as friends, family members, relatives, political associates and media professionals gathered to celebrate one of Nigeria's icon of journalism and good governance, former Governor of Lagos State, Alhaji Lateef Jakonde, who attained the age of 90. The celebration of Pa Jakonde at 90 is an event put together by the Lagos State government to celebrate the man who demonstrated that it is possible to give the people good governance even with little resources, as attested to by the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu.
Thank God for the legacy that you have left behind. Is it in housing? Is it in education? Is it in public transportation? Is it in water?
The national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, and the former governor of Ogun State, Olusegun Oshoba, who chaired the birthday ceremony, called on the federal government to bestow national honors on Pa Jakonde for his contributions to journalism and the growth of Lagos State.
I feel very unhappy that in spite of all that Alhaji Lateef Jakonde did for this country, he is here to be given a national honor. I think that is a serious disgrace on the part of this country.
Key quality of Alhaji Jakonde is unshakable, unnegotiable loyalty to his leaders.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who came in the company of his wife, chronicled the achievements of the celebrants, describing him as a living legend.
I do not know anybody here who has held a leadership position that was not influenced by Alhaji Lateef Jakonde's administration. Generations after will remember the man who transformed Lagos, and by transforming Lagos, transformed Nigeria.
Former governors of Lagos and Ogun State, Babatunde Fashola and Ibikunle Amosun, Deputy Governor of Lagos State, among many other dignitaries, were also present at the occasion. Thompson Andrew, IATV News, Lagos.
There will soon be respite for motorists plying Agege Pen Cinema exits in Lagos as State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu assures accelerated completion of the abandoned Pen Cinema Bridge. The governor spoke while inspecting ongoing rehabilitation work on major roads in the Iju area of the state by Lagos State Public Works Corporation. Sanwo-Olu, in company of his deputy, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, said the contractor handling the bridge construction was being prepared for remobilization back on site.
If not this month, by the month of August, the contractor will be fully mobilized back to site for those two roads. And we're also going to inspect the Pen Cinema, which is the Pen Cinema Bridge, which is also not too far off from here. And we're hoping that the contractor too will be mobilized to go back to site. So once we're able to push those three critical roads, we believe relief will come and it's to the residents of this area and have a plan.
Pressing concern over the pains residing residents go through due to regular gridlock on the alternative routes occasioned by abandoned project, Sanwo-Olu said his government will compensate for the discomfort by ensuring timely completion of the bridge.
That this road used to be extremely very bad, but right now at least there's some major rehabilitation going on. You can see asphalt, where we're standing, they've just finished one part of it early today, and they are concretizing or they are asphalting the other side. We're hoping that they will finish before the close of business today.
According to the governor, the repair was being carried out in 6 segments which will be executed in phases. Over 66 prospective tenants have said to be thrown into confusion as a landlord, Olatunji Joseph, in connivance with a developer, Aderunke Olaleye, and other allegedly yet to be identified agents swindled them of over 16 million naira. The money was meant as rent for 5 flats in a newly constructed one-story building at 11 Benny Close, Asha Estate in the Gbagada area of Lagos State. It was gathered that Joseph had contracted Olaleye to redevelop his bungalow into a one-story building. But while construction was going on, some agents were told that flats in the building were available for rent, and an advertisement was placed on 2 websites to attract prospective accommodation seekers. When contacted, the State Police Public Relations Officer Bala Elkanah stated that Joseph connived with Olaleye to defraud the prospective tenants, adding that he had been arrested and charged to court, while the command had launched a manhunt for Olaleye with a view to arresting her. The National Assembly has been charged to revisit the laws establishing a multi-party system in the nation's democratic process, with a view to terminating the negative effects of multiplicity of political parties. This was part of the consensus at the annual lecture series of the pen-pushing online media platform. The public lecture, which is the third in the series, focused on the theme Nigerian space, political evolution, and multi-party democracy. ITV News crew was there, and our reports.
It was a gathering of creme de la creme of the media world in the southwest region of the country. They all came under the auspices of Pen Pushing Online Platform, a media platform that essentially focuses on promoting ethical values in journalism profession. The founder of the platform, Dimeji Kayode Adedeji, was the first to hit the stage. He explained that the occasion was to, among other things, reach a consensus on what should be the way forward for the nation's democracy to wriggle out of its many challenges.
I am convinced that we will be treated to a very interesting lecture, one of our time, as we are going to drink from a fountain of knowledge. Pen Pushing positively move forward in the area of corporate social responsibility, using the platform to show concern on the plight of the press privilege and the special people. One was the discovery of Sarah Ajayi,
wife of the former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Bola Obasanjo, who chaired the occasion, also addressed the gathering. She was convinced that an amalgam of views of the participants on burning national issues will reflect the conscience of the nation.
One unique quality of Pen Pushing is the commitment to the authentic and internal mechanism against fake news. I must also acknowledge another feat and innovation of Pen Pushing, and this is moving forward in the area of social responsibility by using the platform to address the plights of less privileged.
Delivering the lecture, a professor of education and the former vice-chancellor of Tashlare University of Education, singled out the near unregulated multiplicity of political parties and lack of political ideology on the part of politicians as major contributors to the depth of political imbalance in the nation's democracy.
Interests as individuals very often come before our collective interests in this nation. Our multi-party democratic culture is not born out of any noble, altruistic, or nationalistic considerations, but it is a product of our culturally embedded pathological selfishness.
She also called for consciousness of gender agenda and the need to enhance the inclusion of women in political space. The event came to a close with a communique generated by the participants during an interactive session chaired by the chairman of Metropolitan Broadcasting Service, owners of IBR and IATV, Deacon Owolabi Oladeja.
You will speak by yourself, but you will have just 1 minute.
At the end, Many of these participants walked out of the hall with a conviction that their expressed voices have been heard and will contribute in shaping the conscience of the nation's political system. Thompson Andrew, IATV News, Lagos.
An Air Peace aircraft today made an emergency landing after it experienced difficulty landing at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. The Boeing 737 aircraft from Port Harcourt was said to have experienced turbulence due to the weather, and the pilot reportedly requested a longer runway where it eventually landed. The airline, which confirmed the incident, said the pilot, Captain Simisola Ajibola, noticed a sudden weather changes when approaching Lagos and demanded to land on the international runway as it is longer and wider than the domestic runway. A passenger on the airplane said on Twitter that attempts by the pilot to dial station proved abortive. Spokesperson for the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN, Henrietta Yakubu, who confirmed the incident, said that the matter had been brought under control. Teachers and pupils in Alabata villages, Odeda local government area of Ogun State, have returned to school after police tightened security in the villages. Academic activities in the villages were disrupted following alleged herdsmen attacks in the villages recently. It was gathered that police in the state had increased their presence in the villages with the deployment of the police mobile force and special anti-robbery squad. Teachers and pupils reportedly deserted both primary and secondary schools in Alabata villages for fear of being attacked by the henchmen. The Olu of Alabata, Chief Sanusi Wahab, also confirmed that the schools had been reopened. And now to Ondo State, where the government says it never approved the formation of Fulani vigilante group in the state has been insinuated in some quarters. Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, who made the clarification in an interview with newsmen in Akure, said the state government had directed the police to arrest anyone caught carrying arms or parading themselves as Fulani vigilante. Akeredolu explained that a meeting was held at the instance of the government and members of the Miyeti Allah in the state, where they unanimously agreed to form a committee that will see to the transportation and movement of herders across the state. The governor noted that the committee will assist government in nipping in the bud incessant destruction of farmlands by identifying herders whose cows destroy produce with a view to pay compensation to the affected farmers.
Never a time that the state had any hand in formation or gave approval to the formation of Fulani vigilante. And I've asked the police to rein in anybody who calls himself a vigilante or is carrying any arm. We have never approved.
And now the stock market report. Stockbrokers traded in a total of 135 million ordinary shares valued at 2.09 million naira. At the close of trading today on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, GT Bank PLC recorded the highest volume of trade with a total of 15.65 million ordinary shares valued at 453 million naira. Zenith Bank PLC came second on the activity chart with 12.57 million ordinary shares valued at 232 million naira. Nestle PLC led the pack of gainers with 67 naira to close trading at 1,327 naira. Dangote Cement PLC came second on the gainers chart with 4 naira to close at 174 naira. On the other hand, Forte Oil PLC topped the losers chart with a drop of 2 naira in its share value to close trading at 18 naira 15 kobo. International Bearers PLC also dropped 1 naira 50 kobo in its share value to close trading at 13 naira 80 kobo. All share index closed trading at 28,144.87 points, all in 3,358 transactions, while market capitalization ended today's trading at 13.716 trillion naira. And that's the size of our package from the Lagos studios of IATV. I am Adegboyega Labiron, thanking you for joining us and now returning you back to our studios in Ibadan for the rest of the news. Good evening.